Hello everybody, welcome to the stream this evening. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be doing some fishing. Yeah. People always ask, would you ever do like a fishing stream? So we are going to do a fishing stream. And to start things off, I'm here in Thelsamar. There's a little fishing hut right over here. And we need to buy a fishing rod firstly, because I sold mine a long time ago. Maybe we need to visit the trade goods vendor for that first. Let's do that. And then the fisherman, he has a couple of recipes for cooking, so we'll be able to level our fishing and cooking kind of up together. And we haven't touched cooking in a long time, so that's going to be pretty cool. Trade goods vendor is somewhere. Alex, welcome to the stream, my man. Thanks for being here. You would think I would know where the trade goods vendor is. Maybe he's just inside the inn.
How are you? Off with you.
How fun is the paladin comparing with the warrior and the rogue? It's not as fun. But it's more survivable. And since we've mainly been playing hardcore, that is better because we get to play the class longer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for like sheer fun, I think warrior and rogue are pretty fun for like melee, definitely. And I don't think the paladin is that exact kind of fun. Absolutely not. It's an enjoyable class for me because I don't mind relying on like white swings and stuff like that.
Great to meet you.
But yeah,
Off with you.
it's not exactly super exciting, right? We already know that one. There we go.
See you soon.
Adrian, how am I feeling today? I'm feeling a little bit better today. Yeah. Most of the mucus though now is like everything bad is happening like in my face. So like my muscle aches are mainly gone. I think I broke my last sweat last night. Like maybe I broke my fever. But yeah, so that stuff is gone. But now like the problem is all inside of my face, like inside of my sinus cavity.
I've the finest
And I feel like
wares
that's
in the
probably
land.
going to take a couple more days to
Keep your feet on the
literally
ground.
work itself out of my body. So, but I'm not feeling bad. Yeah, I feel physically much better today. Holly, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, let's go ahead and affix the bauble. And then we'll get to it. Jackie Joe, good evening. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and keybind that. And so if at any point today, like I go on mute and I turn my head and it seems like I'm talking on mute, I am probably talking to my wife. She's on the second rig down here actually polishing up on her classic WoW skills. She wanted to get on and roll up a character, so she hasn't played since Mista Pandaria. And then we had our son, so she has not been back to the game since then, and now I've got her trying Classic Era. With the hope of one day doing like an immersive duo series. I think that'd be pretty fun. For me, it would be fun. So yeah, if I turn my head and start talking on mute, it's intentional today. It probably won't happen, but it could. Steven, thank you, man. If you're a father, happy Father's Day to you too, and to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. Look for the fishing pools along, like, yeah, see, yeah, I need that advice because I don't think about that at all. So, like, yeah, the little pool things. I should like make a circuit of the lake and kind of look for spots like that. Is that going to get us like better fish, or what exactly do we get out of the fishing spots? Adrian, no, she does not. Nope. We get chest. Okay, and then the next question I have is, what's in the box? Alex, what's in the box? What's like the loot table for the chest? Could we get any cool gear out of it, I guess, is what I'm driving at. And like, how prevalent are these fishing spots? And the draw distance, would I be able to see them from up on the ridge is like also another question. And look for wreckage as well, Steven? Yeah. I'm just not sure with the draw distance if I could even see it from up here, or if I would really need to be kind of closer to the ground. Let's swim across maybe to like the islands where we can kind of run along the land. There are probably resources or like add-ons that just help you cheat at finding these things. Are there areas, per se, where like I'm absolutely not going to find said pools, and areas where I more likely will? Like, would it have to be on like a main shoreline, or could it be on like one of these island shorelines? I just want to make sure that if I'm running around like an idiot that I'm not totally barking up the wrong tree. We can get stuff like bags and gear. Okay, that's really cool. I'd love to see one. Stephen, to be honest, where you're at on the dock is the best way to do it. Yeah, it's probably the best way to get like pure skill ups, you're right. That's what I thought too. I wouldn't mind like checking out some of the little pools though. Oh, like right here, look at that. To see like what's the likelihood that we get anything out of it. And then we can kind of gauge like if we wanna hunt these out, or if we just want to stand on the dock. So let's go ahead and have a go at it. Do I have to like cast into it, or how? I'm hovering over it. Okay, not sure if that counts right there. I guess like spacing is a thing. Quindy, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. And no, we won't die. I don't think we won't drown, right? That's the only danger, is that we would drown, but we're gonna be fine. There's an add-on called Gather Mate. Used it in Wrath. It doesn't show exactly, right? Does this count as like being in this little area? I feel like that's working. And then am I gonna like fish this out? Is it gonna run out of fish and then it's gonna disappear? I've literally never done this at one of these before, so the fish got away. How dare he? Tweety Bird, the ones with the lumber and debris, those have the chance to have the chest. Okay. So like this guy here, is he just like mainly rare fish? Because yeah, I just see fish. Which is fine. I mean, the main impetus here is to just level up our fishing a bit. If we get some cool stuff like out of it, that's great. But oh, see, look at that. I'm hovering over the pool, but it's casting me way out there. Let's see. Okay, that worked. They have a lower chance here. Okay. Yeah, it's all good for me. I really don't mind. If we happen to get a chest, that'd be great. Okay, so there we go. We fished this one out. So now we have to look for another one. Yeah, let's run down the coast. We might eventually just find a spot and kind of farm in it for a bit, but I want to see how frequently we can actually find these. That would be a good to know. Mr. Handsome, you want to take a moment to mention how disgusted you are at seeing me wear a KC Chiefs shirt. Go Bears, happy Father's Day, and good luck fishing. That ugly shirt might scare away all the fish, though. That's fair, man. I watch like every football game I can, but yeah, the Chiefs are my team and my wife's team. But yeah, go Bears too, man. Definitely. I don't have a big like rivalry, you know. That's the thing. I love football, and I love watching all the games I can. And what I do is I find players on like teams, and I kind of root for the players that I really like, and that lets me like watch as many games as possible. So yeah. Oh, here we go. Look at this. And I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Father's Day. I'm not going to be able to fish and drink coffee at the same time, huh? That's not going to be a thing because it's so unpredictable. I need coffee with a straw, like a long straw, and then I could do both, right? That's why people have those hats, right? So they can wear them while they're fishing. The hats that hold like containers of liquid. Yeah, I need that because I really want this coffee's getting warm. It's not hot anymore. It doesn't have the protection of the Yeti. And I want to get at it. I'll do this cast and then I'm going to carefully guzzle some coffee. Didn't your mother ever teach you it's not polite to stare when someone's drinking? Didn't she ever teach you that? Well, Schmidt, I'm glad you're enjoying. Is the music up high enough, or should I turn the music up? So I'm not sure where my sound settings are at. I should actually take a look. Oh, there we go. We'll turn it up a little bit. That's a fair point, Tweety Bird. Yeah, I could do that. I feel like I'm okay here, like, switching it back and forth, though. R is a pretty comfortable button for me just to tap. But yeah, that is a good point. You could set up a whole setup on your second action bar. On the mage, I did that for, like, portals and stuff. Whitney, did I see Tally's latest video? I saw a clip of Tally from his stream going on about the coins, the chicken tenders, the for sale tendies. I saw a clip of that, but I don't think I watched like anything on the official channel. I think that was the Clips channel. But I did watch most of that. It was the one with the highest F-bomb count ever. And his opinion on it kind of, he reflected some of the things that I thought, which was maybe that they could sell the tenders for like an in-game currency, or he thought maybe attaching them to like the subscription, like, you know, you do your month sub and you get like 300 tendies with your month sub. And that was like, to me, that's like, okay, that's obviously a ploy to get people like to sub, but it's like added value to the sub, so that would be okay to see. But yeah, I do think they're going to do something different than sell it straight up on their cash shop. I don't think they're going to sell bundles of tendies on the cash shop directly for monetary value. I think we are most likely to see it for sale for like either an in-game resource or attached to other stuff. Like buy the overpriced mount, get the chicken tendies. Pierre, welcome man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. We are doing some fishing. Yeah, we're looking for these little special fishing spots. It's a beautiful evening here in the Loch Modan. We're hoping to get like maybe a chest to pop, something cool to happen. That'd be awesome. Oh, about some upcoming retail stuff? I've seen a couple of videos about upcoming retail stuff. And it seems like they're adding a lot of cool features. I saw like the gear catch-up options they're going to add to like the character screen where you can like equip your guy with better gear, some bags, teleport them to their home city, clean the quest log out. That seems like a super cool feature. Obviously they're also unlocking the allied races so that maybe those are already unlocked. I'm not sure. So you don't have to have a rep for the allied races, you just go do their little story at the little hall and then you can unlock the allied races. They're doing a lot of awesome stuff in retail. Yeah. But all that stuff would have been about 10.1.5. Diego, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I just noticed that sometimes like a little fish will actually plop out of the water. That's pretty cute. It's subtle, and I like it. Alex, you've been playing retail all day today? How have you been enjoying it? I'm assuming if you played all day, I hope that you're having a lot of fun. I hope that would be the obvious answer. I've been itching to get back on the Evoker. Even though I complained a lot the other day at first when I started playing it. I had a lot of little nitpicky complaints about retail. I've been thinking about my Evoker like all day today. And I've actually been feeling the urge to get on and press those buttons. And that is something I haven't felt about retail in a very long time. So that's interesting. I'm thinking probably tomorrow I'm going to get on and keep level in the Evoker. I think I'm going to do a bunch of dungeon runs. I want to learn some of the 5-man dungeons, and I want to start pressing the buttons on this class in the dungeons. And we have 5 levels to 70. With the experience buffs, I feel like we could probably grind out some dungeons, do a little bit of questing along like with the wait timer, and probably hit 70 really, really quickly. You're trying to complete the campaign. Right on. Yeah, we did the campaign on the shaman, and it was good for a campaign, you know, for like the first part of the campaign. And I haven't seen like a lot of the story coherently after that, except for a little bit of the Embers patch. Mainly for me, like what's drawing me back is like I kind of been digging the class, and pushing the class buttons and kind of learning the class. I've kind of like I've accepted that the story is going to be whatever it is, and like. And if I can get into the gameplay, I'll just kind of be along for the ride. Alright, let's keep going. Maybe we go back to the docks for a bit. Have we done a full circle? Not quite, but almost. I'm assuming we're not going to find any, like, off a cliff's edge where we wouldn't be able to fish. It wouldn't make sense for them to put them down here, I wouldn't think. Because we can't fish while we're floating, can we? That would be kind of weird. Jake, my history with the Chiefs starts with Mahomes. So, yeah. A little bit more recent than that, I think. Watching the Chiefs is what got me into football because, like, for most of my life until, like, was it 4 or 5 years ago? 4 years ago? Before that, like, I never watched football. And I started watching the Chiefs, like, 4 years ago. And they really, like, they got me into the game. I started to learn about the game. I started to learn the things that I loved about it. And I've been a big fan of the NFL since then. A lot of things, like, about the game are obviously, like, brutal. And there are things about it that I don't like. But I like the core of the game enough to continue to enjoy watching the games. It got you to grind some rep, Alex? Some renown? You did some renown grinding? Welshman, good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good sleep. We'll see you next time. Let's fish off the dock for a little bit here. Oh, look at that. There's actually a pool right off the dock. I was gonna say let's fish here for a bit and then we'll make another circuit to see what spawns. So this is perfect. Let's we have another bauble. For some reason I thought these were 30 minutes. Maybe that's Wrath of the Lich King that I was thinking about. Yeah, Whitney, sometimes they take hits, and sometimes the hits look bad and are bad, and other times they take a hit, and you're like, I've seen them take that hit, like, so many times, and then they don't get up. And that's, like, the part where you're like, oh. Like, you can really, really get hurt. Anything could go wrong, you know, you do the same tackle, the same play, you do it hundreds of times, and then one time you just get hit or fall, and like, the perfect way to really injure the human body. Yeah, and obviously that's the part of the sport that's, you know, that sucks. That's the part of it that sucks. I really liked the flag football they did at the Pro Bowl. I thought the flag football was really, really fun to watch. I thought the cool thing about it was it let them display a lot of their skills athletically without, like, being physical contact. Obviously, that's not going to be as, like, commercially profitable to watch on television, but yeah. Alex, the thing about what you just said, man, is that, like, I don't think we know who the actual big bad is in this expansion yet. Because there, you know, unless it is, you know, we have basically been shown that it might be Morazan, right? But I don't know if we know for sure yet. And then there's some, like, weird cosmic void stuff going on, like, in the background of everything again. Kind of like in BFA, how it was in the background. I kind of hope that they don't pull out the Cosmic Lord stuff like in the last patch like they did with BFA. But that stuff is definitely like also in the background of things. I don't know if I'll like what they do with the lore, but I am interested to see what they try to do to like kind of push the lore forward. So I kind of thought we would see Galakron, and I guess we still could. But I don't think you could do Morazan and Galakron and Cosmic Void stuff. I don't think you do all that in one expansion. I think that'd be a lot of stuff to handle. And then there's Emerald Dream stuff going on, and then I start to feel like Shadowlands. How are they going to handle all these plot lines? It seems like so many lore plot threads, like, I hope they leave some of them to, like, pick up in later expansions, because trying to handle all of them in this expansion would probably be a mistake. Galakron is kind of dead, but the thing about Galakron is death is kind of his thing, so does it really make sense for him to be permanently dead? Also, if we're talking about having Murazan in the picture, couldn't he just pluck Galakron out of like a different timeline and put him down where we're at? You know, with some time magic, some timey-wimey stuff. I don't know what they'll do, but there's definitely ways to do it, you know. Galakron, from what I remember from Chronicles, was like giant dragon of death, basically. Like a giant death aspected dragon. And I don't know if that's been like revised since, or too many more details than that, but he was the one that the aspects kind of became aspects to fight. They had to band together to take him down. And I'm pretty sure that Tyr empowered the dragons so that they could do that. Like, that was why they went from being proto-drakes to becoming aspects, was to fight Galakron, I thought. Auntie, happy Father's Day, man. Thank you for being here. Pierre, I feel you, man. I think a lot of people feel that same way, so I don't think you're alone in that feeling. And mainly, yeah, when it stopped feeling like Warcraft, like the RTSs, yeah. They became the aspects after defeating Galakron. Okay, right on. That seems like, you know, better late than never with the support there, Titans. We really could have used you for fighting Galakron, but I'm glad you got us some power now. Thanks a lot for the help there. Yeah, I'd be a little bitter about that. See, to me it made sense that the Titans were like, oh shit, Galakron's a big problem. Hey, we got these proto-drakes that don't like him because he's messing up their stuff. Maybe we empower them so that they could help out. That made sense to me. Giving them the power as a reward? I don't like the idea of giving someone power as a reward. Cause if you just did defeat Galakron, then you're pretty damn powerful already. Also, power shouldn't be given as a reward. Power should be used for a purpose. And if power is just being given away as a reward, then I question the Titans' decision making entirely. Because you should give an entity power when they need it to overcome some evil, some threat to the planet, something like that. That's when you should empower something, not just as a reward. Oh, you did really good there. Here's some more power. Enjoy that. Yeah, thanks for doing good. A favorite zone in Classic? I like places like Mulgore. I like zones like this that are kind of peaceful, like forests. Where there's like some hills, but not too many hills. You can see for a while, but there's some variation to the landscape. Least favorite zones are ones that look like the surface of the moon, like the Badlands, Desolus. Stuff that kind of wears on you after a while. Korthia, the Mall. Those are my least favorite types of zones. Sweetie, did I pass one behind me? That could have been a while ago. I was a little distracted, to be fair. My puppy is now also in the office. I don't think he's being a good boy, judging by my wife's reactions to him. Is this one? What am I seeing here? This looks like some kind of water disturbance. Right? Yeah, I think this is one. Lael, man, I know nothing about the chronology or reading order of the Warcraft books. The only ones that I've read that weren't like the actual chronicle lore books, I read the Arthas book, which was okay. And I read the book that was about Jaina and what happened at Theramore with the mana bomb. And by read, I mean I listened to audiobooks of them. So those are the only, and so I don't know like the reading order, but I bet if you googled like a good reading order for the Warcraft like novels, you'd probably get some good resources for that. Yeah, the internet's how I got my reading order for the Cosmere books. I looked at a couple, compared them to each other, and then I picked a reading order that I kind of liked that was close to the... I like being close to the publication order, always makes sense to me. Like, it never makes sense to me to like go too far outside of the publication order. Because like lore gets established in the order that stuff is published basically, so... It's kind of difficult to fish here because a lot of the water here is too shallow. I see it now, Alex. You're right, there's a tooltip. And I thought I noticed it earlier and then just stopped thinking about it entirely, because I'm really on the ball this evening. Absolutely. Lael, thanks for asking. Yeah, I feel better today. Like, physically I feel better. I have a lot of negative stuff going on in my sinus cavity, but I can, like, literally get that out of me over time. So I think, like, the worst of, like, the physical symptoms, like the pain and the sweats and the chills, I haven't had the chills today at all. Oh, there's the mute. There it was. At some point I must have muted. Sorry about that. Alright, on to the next. Is the random dungeon supposed to teleport you inside the dungeon for retail, like looking for dungeon queue? Yeah, for looking for dungeon queue, it should take you right inside the dungeon. It didn't teleport you. Like if you, so you'll get the little green eye somewhere down here. I think is where they put the green eye for the dungeon finder. If you right-click that, you should have options like teleport to dungeon. So if something ever happens where you get into the group but you're not in the dungeon with them, it didn't move you to it. If you right-click the green eye, you should have options to teleport into the dungeon from there. And teleport out of the dungeon too. If you're like in and you need to teleport out to like vendor or repair or something, you could right click teleport out if you're in. Anybody correct me on that if that has changed in retail. Tactical, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you stopping by for the fishing stream. Oh yeah, Alex, they get started without you. Oh yeah, they'll clear the entire dungeon without you there. They won't even bother to boot you. That's how fast the dungeon runs go in retail these days. Is yeah, not only do they not need you there, like to begin, they don't need you there at all. It sounds bad, and I'm kind of taking the piss out of it, but I'm being serious too. Is yeah, I've had runs in retail where like I've died, and then like by the time they don't res me, by the time I get back, like they've cleared a boss, like they've cleared the next boss, you know. Yeah, retail's about go go go. If you're not there to go go go, they're gonna leave you behind, and they won't think much about it, you know. And it's like they leave you behind and they leave you in the group because they like it, I don't think people do it out of hostility. They just are used to going fast, and they know some people don't. So like if someone gets left behind, the other 4 people don't really stop to care too much. A lot of times they'll just leave you in the group, you know. It's part of retail that I bounce off of is how fast people feel the need to clear the content. Dark Cell, I'll keep that in mind for future fishing streams. Oh yeah, Alex, the normal and heroic modes of retail dungeons are really super easy. Especially compared to like something, say, like a heroic plus in Wrath of the Lich King. The thing about 5-mans in retail is they mainly now serve the purpose of mythic 5-mans. And then the mythics, and I've never been a mythic player, so my understanding of it is not probably complete, but basically you start with a mythic key and it starts at 0, and then the key can be leveled up to be a higher key, and the higher the key, the more challenging the run is, with different affixes that happen. So there are different affixes that get applied to the dungeon that make the enemies and things in the dungeon happen that make it more difficult to deal with, like extra adds or extra damage, things like that. And the point of the mythic runs is basically to clear them, especially the higher level keys. You want to be clearing them as fast as you can. So people develop routes, and what the routes are is they're full of skips. So we want to skip as many packs as we can in Mythic, because in Mythic we want to do the dungeon as quickly as we can. And those runs are hard. They're hard because stuff is harder, you know, stuff hits harder, and there are negative affixes that will impact your group negatively, so that makes it harder. And they're also hard because of the speed with which groups have to clear through. So yeah, so if you want to do like challenging 5-man content, you really want to look into Mythic dungeons, because that's the only place you're going to find a challenge with 5-man content in retail. That's just kind of how they have it designed right now. Like, you could do heroic 5-mans, but they're not very hard, and I don't really think they give good gear to be worth it. I don't think a lot of people do heroic 5-mans in retail. Whitney, I totally understand that. I could not name you 3 dungeons since BFA. I could not even name 3 5-man dungeons since BFA, because ever since Legion brought Mythics in, and I kind of bounced off Mythics, I basically stopped doing 5-mans entirely. Except I would clear them when they had like the story quest attached to it, but that would be the only time I'd ever do it. Daniel, yeah, it's an alternative option for gearing over raids. It's not an alternative option for gearing over raids necessarily. It's you know, it's for people that want to do hard 5-man content, in my mind. I feel like, you know, it is an alternative in one way, but I don't think that's really like the point of it necessarily. I think there are people who like to have that smaller group, that 5-man group, and they want to do something that's like super challenging for that 5-man group, but they don't want to do like a 10-man raid. There are definitely people who kind of fall into that category. It's a way to gear. It's a different way to get great gear, sure. Alex, if they had a solo mode in the dungeons, yeah, it would be cool to do like a solo mode for like when you have a quest to go in there or something, or maybe to have like an NPC party. That way, if what you want to do is just to clear it, to see the story stuff, you could do that without having to worry about being left behind by a group. You know, you could actually like see the dungeon and like experience it at a slow pace set by yourself. That would actually be pretty cool. For being able to like, in that way you could like kind of go in, you could go through it at a leisurely pace, you can get comfortable with it. You know, but before people are expecting you to go through it hyper rapidly. Tweety and Legion, all you do is Mythics? That's awesome. Yeah. It's like for people that like it, it was probably great. I don't like the time trial aspect of it. So. Once we're running on an evoker, on the augmentation evoker, then I might try some, you know, because then it's like I don't have to tank, I'm not going to heal, and also I don't have to top the meters. So if I can follow along and keep up, I might have a higher chance at any kind of success. And if the class is super enjoyable, like I think it might be for me, I would definitely be down to do that. But with the current roles in the game, I haven't felt compelled to tank, heal, or DPS mythics. It's like, I don't really care for the pressure of it. Darren, I definitely think there are lots of WoW players that see lots of parts of the game as a chore. Definitely. And Blizzard, and the way they have changed the way the game feels and works over time, they haven't done a lot to stop that from happening naturally to most people. When you set certain like daily or weekly thresholds on stuff, you kind of egg people on to hit those metrics. You're turning something into a chore just automatically. Whether it's by saying, you know, the resource cap for this is 1,000 in a week, or the renown cap for this is 2,500 in a week, when you're setting those like arbitrary markers for weekly progress, what you're really doing is egging people on to meet those and giving them a fear of missing out if they don't. And that's going to make anything feel like a chore. And so they have definitely only added things to the game to make it more chore-like. Now, the best kind of chore is one that is really kind of fun while you're doing it and rewarding once it's done. So like there is such a thing as meaningful work, and a video game can give you the feeling of meaningful work. And what you're doing, like what we're doing right now, can be a chore, you know. But when it's designed well, it's fun and feels like meaningful work within the game world. And for a while, a lot of World of Warcraft endgame systems did not feel fun, and they were not particularly rewarding, but people felt compelled to farm them anyway. And that was not good game design. But I feel like the game has been changing and has some better design, especially in Dragonflight. Wow, the only reason you leveled and geared in Wrath was to solo all the old content. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's your intrinsic motivation. You had a motivation inside yourself to get gear, to do a thing you wanted to do, and that the game did not, like, carrot you with, you know? You didn't just want to get the gear to do the next raid or the next thing or the next thing. You had an intrinsic reward you were after that you generated inside yourself, and that's an awesome way to enjoy a game. Yeah, playing a game by your own rules and playing a game with your own motivations is always a good way to enjoy a game. Oh, look at that, a tightly sealed trunk. Tightly sealed. Is it going to be... Oh, I have a couple of these. These are not locked. We got some minor mana potions and a bolt of linen cloth. Some light leather. Oh, and a healing potion. Okay. Oh, we've had a few of these. I just have not been seeing them at all. That's nice. Some of them just have fish. Awesome. Legion was great, you know, even though Legion did the unforgivable sin of introducing the infinite AP grind into the game. Like, I forgive that of Legion, because the Order Halls were amazing, and the Order Hall stories were amazing, and the artifact weapons were amazing. And so it introduced the infinite AP grind, which is basically what made it so that I could no longer raid and I no longer played WoW retail. That happened. By the time BFA came and we knew that AP was always going to be a good thing we had to grind, I had stopped raiding because I just couldn't I couldn't play that much and raid. It just made it basically impossible. But Legion as an expansion was really great. Even narratively and story-wise, the cinematics and the way the story played out was absolutely amazing, and it felt like Warcraft. it felt like a solid chunk of Warcraft lore. But for me, it introduced mythics, which I bounced off of, and it introduced the AP grind, which meant that at endgame I could no longer raid log, which is what I like to do. My reward for getting to endgame used to be that, like, you know, I could raid log and just do the activity that I really liked with the people I wanted to play with. But then we had to farm World Quest for AP, X amount of times to keep up with everybody who had lots of free time. So that kind of was the nail in the coffin. But the content of Legion, like outside of that, was amazing. We need to actually head back to the fishing trainer because we need to train. We are going to cap out. We are going to cap out, and I don't want to do that. So let's cut across the lock here. Leo, yeah, the Mage Tower. I think everyone can agree that the Mage Tower is an amazing feature, and it should probably just always be in the game in some way, like a modern version of it. Like, just as good should probably always exist. And it kind of sucks that that's not really the case. Yeah. Darren, to get classic Bop, you'd have to get Cataclysm, and like nobody wants Cataclysm. And I think there are a lot of people out there who like are very attached to Mop. There are a lot of people who will tell you that Mop was the best expansion in World of Warcraft. Yeah, I didn't play a lot during Mist myself, especially not when it first came out. I didn't play a lot. I was suffering burnout at the time, I think. Me and my friend did level up Pandaren, and right away we like power leveled them, and I felt like right after we got to max level I was like, no. I need to step away. We've been putting too many hours into this game. I burned out for a while during Mist. And you know, like... yeah, I leveled the Pandaren. That's really all I can say. Was I super happy that that was the race they added? I don't really know how I felt about it at the time.
You got my attention. See you soon.
Let's fish right here for a bit. We'll give the schools some time. Oh, okay, we don't need to give them time. They apparently spawn randomly and frequently. Because there's one right over here. I feel like they probably want to put more things like that that feel like super unique and like super surprising to find like in the game. But then they also have to grapple with the fact that like it's hard to make something like so exclusive. You know, that only like a small percentage of people will be able to experience. And so they probably struggle with that from like a design standpoint. Like how much super unique stuff do you put in, or do you spend more of your development time making content that like everybody gets to enjoy, like the Blue Dragon questline added recently in retail. Like they could do something for a class, you know, like have an awesome class quest, or like that same development time would be spent on like something like the Blue Dragon questline that everybody can do. So they probably struggle with that. They probably want to do like a lot of super unique stuff for the classes. It's probably hard to convince like bosses that it's worth the development time to do that kind of stuff, unfortunately. They did it in Dragonflight with the Evoker legendaries. Yeah, well that makes sense with the Evokers being like brand new in Dragonflight. Yeah, for them to get more of a focus, obviously they also got like their leveling story and stuff for like unique class content. So yeah, when it's a new class, you almost like expect them to get like some special stuff. And it's like, is that fair to other classes? No, not exactly. But it's expected that yeah, that they would get some unique stuff for being the new race class combo in the game. It's one of those things, it's not fair, but it does make sense. I guess I should look up like where else I should fish, because the places I can fish, aren't they restricted by my fishing skill? So like realistically, you know, now that I'm at 75 or 80 or whatever, here we are, 75, potentially that could have opened up like more areas for me to fish, or is this still a place that I should be? Lale, I always thought that like explaining all the physical changes away of the Cataclysm and like how all the zones were totally remade by simply the breaking of the world in that way was a little bit weird. Like so many things changed, and it was hard for me to like fathom that the events they portrayed, it was like almost not even like real. I don't want to say realistic, that's a bad term, but yeah. Yeah, Deathwing breaking free and then like the portraying it the way they did, I feel like there could have been a different way to portray it, which would have made it maybe more believable or sensical. It would have made more sense if like a Titan device had malfunctioned somehow and that like changed, broke up, rewrote parts of the world. Because it's like not only did physical things happen, but like some zones and areas were just simply reshaped. And Cataclysm doesn't always just reshape so cleanly as some of the redesigns of some of the zones. You're not sure if it's an add-on, but if I look at the map, it should say the fishing level you need when you hover over the zone. That sounds like an add-on. Yeah, that sounds like that would probably be an add-on. Would it be considered rude of me to like kind of get in on this guy's fishing spot? Is that kind of like tapping someone's mining node while they're mining it? 'Cause I don't mind when people do that to me, but I don't really know how other people feel, or if this is like breaking some kind of fishing etiquette. Tweety Bird says, do it. That doesn't really make me feel like a good thing. It's no biggie? Okay, sure. It's probably not, right. I feel like it's fine. I'm missing this circle anyway, so I'm probably not even... There we go. Now we're inside of it. We're crossing the streams. That can't be good either. We're gonna fish up Gozer or something. Yeah, that's what I figured, that it would disappear faster. That's kind of what I meant. Like, we got in there, we started tapping it. Similar, like, to if we had come across somebody mining a node, and we start tapping it, yeah, we're going to suck up the resources. It has a few more taps than a mining node, obviously. So maybe it's kind of designed to be shared a little bit. Seemed okay. Oh, look, we have one over here before the cliff starts. That's nice. This guy just ran up to us and he started fishing here, so yeah, it's fine. We'll just think about them as like a shared resource that we can all kind of share in the world. I'm okay with that. Alex, I'm glad they help out. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. Chicken Junkie, will I try the new Battle Bit Remastered game? I don't even know what that is. So in light of that, probably not, but... What type of game is it? an FPS shooter like Battlefield 3 and 4 with Minecraft graphics. That sounds charming, but probably not. But it sounds cute. I did see Ko playing a new auto battler today. Something Torment. It's in early access or pre-alpha or something like that, and it's like it reminded me of Vampire Survivor, but with like some early 2000s like PC graphics. It was like Diablo 2 meets Vampire Survivor, and that looked really cool. I think that if that comes out of early access sometime in existence, I still care about that type of game, then I'd probably check that out, because that looked fun. I kind of liked the art style of it. I don't remember the name, like the word torment was in it, I think. Most of the games I plan to play and check out in the future are going to be like open world RPGs and stuff like that. Like, there's big ones and little ones, but a lot of them are coming out later this year. Things like Baldur's Gate, the new Baldur's Gate, definitely going to be checking that out. Obviously, yeah, I'll check out Starfield, because maybe it'll do all the things they say, and maybe it'll be amazing, but, you know, it's Bethesda, so let's take it with a grain of salt at this point. I did play some Divinity 2 when it first came out. I never beat it though, to be fair. I probably won't go back and beat it before Baldur's Gate. But yeah, I did play it when it first came out. And the thing is, even had I beat it then, I would not remember the story to this day, because I don't have like a really long-standing memory for video game stories, so that's the other thing. Usually I remember like the overarching moments, but like all the filler stuff like kind of just fades. And some of the filler stuff is like the most interesting stuff, so it just doesn't always stick. This seems like a really good way to like get potions. That's really cool. I kind of wish we were getting the bigger ones, but I suppose that will happen as we get into some other areas with our fishing. Because yeah, I didn't realize it could be such an easy source of potions. That's actually really, really cool for a character that does not have alchemy. So I'm liking that aspect of fishing quite a bit. Had I known that a long time ago, that might have been like a good... I mean, I'm sure people told me, you know, that chests could drop, that potions could drop. I just didn't think about how many we'd be able to get. It's really cool. Let's see, we are 88 out of 150. We'd be scaling up more if we were just kind of standing in place, but I kind of like looking around and having the potential of getting the potions and stuff. It seems like it's almost... well, it would be more worth it when we're getting, like, the potions that are at our level, but still. Let's go in here and just grab this chest. Oh, I'm actually really surprised they aggroed. Look at all the respawns that just popped in. You think fishing should automatically give you rested XP? That's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. I like that idea. I would say, like, give me rested XP or just give me a little bit of XP. I like when, like, you do the professions and they give you a little bit of XP. I'm pretty sure they changed, like, mining and herbalism after Cataclysm to do that, and I thought that was really cool. I don't think it should be as much as a kill at the level, but I think giving a little bit of character XP for professions is a good way to, like, urge people to do more of them. And urging people to do more professions is only a good thing, I think. At 150 we can go into the wetlands, awesome. Alex, you fished up 2 10-slot bags in South Shore? That's pretty awesome. We still have 2 8-slot bags, so yeah, if we fish up some 10-slot bags, that would be absolutely clutch. I definitely have a growing interest in leveling this consistently over time and kind of doing the world tour of the different zones we want to go to. So yeah. This has been good. I like the concept of the chest, and just getting extra loot from them is really cool. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of effort. You know, it takes the thing that I think fishing takes in real life, which is patience and time. And yeah, the effort part of it is, like, besides patience and time and a button click, the effort part of it is, like, non-existent, you know? I guess in Classic Era, you have to just know, like, what zones you could go to, especially if you're doing it after the fact, like we are. You just would have to know, like, the progression of zones you should fish in. But it seems like it just follows the leveling order, so if you're just going back and you're following the leveling order, it's easy to figure out, I guess. And yeah, the cooking buff. So yeah, I am gonna use the fish to make food, so that is kind of the other impetus. Do we have anything that cooks this sage fish though? So I don't see that showing up. The 2 that we have are both green right now, which doesn't really help us. Not with the fishing. Yeah, I think all the vendors have different ones, Tweety. The ones over here, we bought a couple of them from the fish vendor nearby, which was this one, and I think we got this one. And so yeah, somewhere out there, there's probably one for the sagefish, I would imagine. I just don't know where that would be at. Because it wasn't from the guy over here. In Lakhmadan. Unless it wasn't, I missed it. Which is a possibility. I can't rule that out yet. Noyan, happy Father's Day, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Tweety Bird, chat is the guide. Yeah. I'm probably not gonna look at a physical guide or like a Wowhead guide. That's why I'm hanging out with you guys. If I wanted to follow a boring guide, I would just do that in the dark by myself, you know. You say maybe Aston or Aberdeen? Yeah, we'll probably get to check all these places. I will go check the vendors and see what they have. Corey, is the recipe vendor in Old Town there in Classic? If it's someone like in retail, if it's a vendor in retail, then no. Probably not. Not if it's like a vendor with a crap ton of recipes on it. Usually the recipes are kind of spread out throughout the world in Classic Era. There are definitely probably some in Stormwind or in the city somewhere, but it wouldn't be like a comprehensive list of them all. Quip, welcome to the stream and happy Father's Day to you, my man. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Tweety, thanks man, I'll check that out next time we are in Stormwind. The inn in the old district. Yeah, I'll start having a look at like all the cooking trainers and fishing trainers that we can come across, just to make sure that we grab everything. Assassinator02, you ask, how populated is this server right now? Well, we could do a /who. This server's very populated, but right now there's nobody here in our level. Let's like make more sense. And we'll say something like that. Yeah, there's over 50 people here in Loch Modan doing stuff. It's this is Bloodsail Buccaneers, where most people are doing the hardcore challenge, so it's typically pretty busy. Especially in zones like prior to level 30. We found that in hardcore, once you hit level 30, you don't see as many people. But prior to that, you see a lot of people. I unbound that. Oh, and they got out of range. That was very, very rude of me. Maybe we'll go hit up some of the vendors. Maybe we'll check out Ironforge, and then we'll catch the tram. We'll see what we can get off the cooking vendors. Let's try to get to 100. I'd really like to get to 100. That's kind of like my goal for right now. If I can get to 100, and then next time we can get to 150, and then we can head into the wetlands and see what we can fish up there. But I feel like I want to hit 100, and then I'd like to go check out some of the cooking vendors. And maybe we can get some stuff cooked as well. We do have the mud snappers at least that we can make. I'll probably have to spend time, like if I want to just gain levels, I'll probably have to spend more time just kind of stationary, like at a dock, just kind of grinding it up. Although I feel like it was fun to kind of search around the lake and find the spawn points, so I definitely want like all the potions and potential bags. But I feel like some of the time standing and just kind of grinding up the skill points is probably the way to go for a bit. Yeah, Ra, it's been nice, and I appreciate you guys coming out for a fishing stream. People have asked me before to do a fishing stream, and what I said was like, you know, you think you want a fishing stream, but you don't. But, you know, quite a few of you guys seem like you do, so we can probably work them in every once in a while. I would love to get it leveled up and be able to use it for cooking and be able to have food buffs at our level. And it would be really awesome as well if we could find some bags or some gear. That would just be a neat little bonus on top. Buffalo Bill, good evening, man. 12 months. That's a long time. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that, man. Anita, thank you, and thank you for stopping by the stream. Let's make sure that I grabbed everything from her that she had. Okay, already known, already known, already known, and nothing on the next page.
Safe travels.
Okay. Maybe if I do like, now that I can equip those higher level baubles,
Hello.
would that help me get skill ups faster? Or would it help me find a different level of fish? Let's see what that's
Keep
about.
your feet on the ground.
Tweety, the Iron Forge cooking supplier does have the sagefish recipe. Okay, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that after we fish. Yep. Yep, definitely. Buffalo Bill, how does my D4 adventure go? It didn't go, man. It didn't go. And I don't know why it didn't go. All I can think to myself is that I'm just not an ARPG player. Because by all accounts, by every account I've looked at, read about, heard from other people who are playing, the game is amazing. It's gonna win like Game of the Year. You know, it's like, apparently it's this amazing game that I just kind of bounced off of it. We tried the Druid, I tried a little bit on the Barbarian, but it didn't feel like I was going to feel substantially different. And I just don't know how, like, it just missed the mark with me. I can objectively point at things that are awesome about it. You know, the artwork, the animations, the spell effects, enemy design. The dialogue was okay, the voice acting was great. It might have partially been just the dark aesthetic to some extent. I played Last Epoch, which was an ARPG, and put some time into that in the 0.9 patch recently. And I really enjoyed that, and I think part of it was just because I got some different varied landscapes that weren't all tones of black, gray, and white. I wish I would have liked it a lot more than I did, yeah. You hit 44 on the Druid and felt like you hit a wall, like with the difficulty of enemies, or just with like ambition to play the game? Because sometimes I hit a wall with like my just desire to even want to play, and that's kind of what happened with D4. I feel like I hit like an emotional wall with it. Phoenix says, thank you for all that you do. I know you don't expect anything from people that watch you other than that they hopefully enjoy it, but I think I speak for many people when I say the best ASMR/sleep voice ever. Thank you for saying so, Phoenix. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for being here, man. Sleeping is hard, so getting to sleep can be especially hard. So if I can help anybody with that, then I feel like that's awesome. It's definitely worth being here. You feel like it was a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, Buffalo Bill? Like you feel like class-wise and just like desire to play the game-wise, you kind of hit a wall? I saw like a metric about Diablo 4 that like a large percentage of players have not completed the campaign yet. I'm assuming at 44 you have not completed the campaign yet. And I wonder if other people, although a lot of people played initially, I wonder if other people are kind of getting to that point where they're hitting that wall. And maybe that's why Maybe that's why a small percentage of players has completed the campaign. That could be the case. What's my favorite class to play in Classic? It's hard to say these days. We've been doing a lot of hardcore, so my favorite class recently is the one that keeps us alive. Historically, I've really enjoyed the Warrior, probably more than any other class, as far as like the gameplay and the pace of it. Yeah, D4 was missing it was missing something for me. There was something missing from it that it did not compel me to want to keep seeing more. After a certain point, I just felt no desire to see more of the game. I felt like I'd seen enough. And yeah, and I just attribute it to me kind of bouncing off of ARPGs. But like I said, that being said, I enjoyed Last Epoch a lot, and when Last Epoch hits 1.0, I fully plan to play the campaign. But that was a little bit different aesthetically too. You had like normal fantasy looking areas mixed in with some darker looking areas, so it gave you kind of a varied aesthetic, and it felt like a more complete world, and not literally like, you know, D4 is supposed to be dark. It's necessarily dark, and that could have been part of what I didn't like about it. Also, I find that the gameplay was just kind of boring for me. It could have been just the 2 classes I played. There could be like, but then I think there aren't that many classes, so if I tried 2 classes and I felt like the combat was kind of boring and samey, I'm probably going to feel that way in general about that type of combat. I've heard good things about Grim Dawn as far as like the story and gameplay of it. I've never played it myself. And so yeah, I don't think I'll play any more of D4. I don't think I'm going to spend any more time with it, unfortunately. I was hoping it would be a game that I could play for hundreds of hours, but that just turned out not to be true. They still support Grim Dawn even though it's kind of old. They're still doing patches. Do they do any content updates, or do they just like class balance and do stuff like that every once in a while? I know it had a few expansions. Auntie, it looked boring when I was playing it. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it did feel boring, didn't it? And yeah, I felt like I was never gonna remember any of those dungeons. You know what I mean? Even the one where like the butcher chased us, I have no visual memory of like what that dungeon was like. I just remember the butcher. And so yeah, just like it was a lot of samey dungeons, and I guess like to an extent people kind of expect that like repetitive gameplay in those types of games. But I really wish there could have been a way to not make the environments look so much the same. I felt the music in D4 was amazing. Yeah, the music was really good. The graphics were good, the music was good. It's just like the design of the environments was too similar. Even when they were trying to be unique, they used the same color palette, so they weren't distinguished enough. And I just thought the combat was boring. You know, just waves of enemies, and even a lot of the bosses weren't that hard. You can face tank a lot of them. Especially leveling up, you just, you know... Unless you were playing a hardcore character and you had that self-imposed, like, 1 life, it didn't feel like there would be any actual challenge to the game. You just face roll stuff, and that's it. And you face roll bosses, and that's it. And then eventually there's like, a couple of challenging fights we hit that seemed like... so very differently tuned than every other piece of content you'd come up against so far. And like, even those, like, I think the one took us 2 attempts to get it. And yeah. The gameplay just did not do a lot for me. And for some reason, even the thought of like progressing the classes and seeing more of the class, like I just didn't care. I just didn't care enough about the class gameplay to really want to see the next ability or to experience the next thing. But apparently it's going to be Game of the Year, so like, what do I know? I'm just an old MMO player, I guess. Like, I'm not an ARPG player. That's really probably all there is to it. Auntie, that's a little bit extreme, but I understand what you're saying. I don't think that that's a fair comparison for Diablo 4 at all, but I get what you're trying to say. Because I think Diablo 4 is an amazing game to the people who like that style of game. And I think it was definitely designed to really hit those ARPG fans, you know. People who want to play Path of Exile but feel left behind by it. I think it was definitely designed to grab those people, and I think it did a damn good job at that. It just probably didn't do a lot to pull people in who just are outside of that genre. And maybe it was different enough from some games in the genre that it might have put some of those people off, but clearly, you know, I think we can say, like, it's a good game to the right players, and there's a lot of them, apparently. It sold a record number of copies. It might have been like an all-time record for video games. They weren't very clear on like exactly what the record was, but it was some kind of incredible amount of units moved. So, both physical and digital.
See ya soon.
Buffalo Bill, I probably won't be able to do PoE 2 either after this experience. I think I might have learned that, because for me, PoE is like so much crazier than Diablo. Yeah, I've tried to get into Path of Exile a couple of times, and it's like, nope, nope, nope. So many systems that I'm never going to comprehend. So much content that has been like put into the game through over time, you know, and I think, yeah, PoE 2 would be a fresh start, but I think that maybe the same thing would happen to me that happened with D4. Because I feel like I might have a similar experience. Now, that being said, I feel like in Path of Exile, it's not going to be the same, like, samey dungeons, samey environments, like, just monochrome environments. I feel like there's going to be more, like, enemy variety and more environmental variety. Just because it's a different setting. And what that can do is that could definitely help to push me forward to get me to play more of the game. The biggest thing that stopped me with D4 was, like, it was so samey and so boring, and it felt like it was going to stay that way. It didn't feel like we were going to get to areas that I thought were like super interesting looking. But yeah, but maybe you do once you get to like Acts 2, 3, etc. Buffalo Billman, I'd be interested in any MMO that came out to full release that wasn't something that already was out. Yeah, because, well, I'm playing ESO here and there for the stories, but I'm not really playing that as an MMO. I'm approaching that as like a single-player open-world RPG. So I'm not interested in like any of the MMO aspects of ESO. I'm just playing that to see the stories. And like, yeah, there's nothing else out right now that I'm remotely interested in. Final Fantasy, when I play that, I treat it the same way. I treat it as a single-player JRPG. So I don't even have any interest in playing that like an MMO, and it's like, I see the games that are supposed to be coming out in the future, and they're all these games that have been in development for like the past 8 to 10 years, and I don't think any of them are ever going to come out to full release. Like Ashes of Creation, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. I don't think we're ever gonna get these games. Because otherwise I could look forward to some of that. Like, yeah, Ashes of Creation looks like it could be okay. But then again, it's been in development for so long, and they've totally changed engines. Like last year they went over to Unreal 5, so that means you're basically back at the beginning with your development in some ways. And then Pantheon Rise of the Fallen looked cool at first, and it looked unique, and then the most recent build I saw of it that Co played made it look like it's just an EverQuest clone. Which makes sense, because Co is basically funding that entire game himself now, and he loves EverQuest, so it makes sense that the devs would move it more and more towards just looking like EverQuest. So, yeah, and it's hard to look forward to it, because I'm like, we're never going to get to see these games come out to full release. And those are the only ones that I know about, like, that's it. I know about those two as far as, like, future MMOs. Yeah, and a lot of stuff leans towards PvP play, yeah, because they feel like that's like what a player might want that's not an MMO player that might pull them in. Like, you might get like some Call of Duty people, or that's what they think, you know. I don't know if it really works that way. And yeah, I'm not a big PvPer. I've always kind of been open to trying it in WoW, but I'm not like a big competitive PvP type of person. I think we'll continue to see stuff like New World happen. I think the MMOs we get will continue to happen like New World did. They'll come out, you know, they won't be done, they won't be that great, and they will collapse in a number of weeks or months. And eventually you might have a game genre that just simply doesn't really exist anymore. Because I don't think that there's a lot of interest, especially in younger people, for the MMO genre. Because MMOs used to be special because they were like one of the only places where you could gather online with friends and play in a world together. But now every game has multiplayer. And so many games do like small server sizes where you can play the game, whatever it is, like with you and your friends. Like, you know, you can go do a Valheim world with you and your friends. And it used to be some of those experiences were unique to MMOs. And they're not anymore. So younger gamers are getting their like online play with their friends, and they're online and meeting people. They're getting that in other genres now. And so there's not like a big interest or desire for new MMOs in the market, so that's why we're not getting any. And all the ones we are getting are like crowd-funded and fan-funded, where they're dumping like millions of dollars into the game, but it never comes out. And once all that stuff falls through, besides maybe the Riot MMO, because they have so much money behind them, we're probably not going to see any MMOs come out. It's sad, but that's kind of how I see things right now. And yeah, PvP is all about reaction time. Yeah, exactly. And I don't have a reaction time like that. I don't have that kind of... I've seen how people PvP and the kinds of crazy movements that occur, and I don't think I could... If that's what it's about, those like fast twitch reflexes, then I probably would be trash at it. Ra, you say PvP made you better in dungeons? That's cool. I mean, I guess like any more of playing the game could probably make you better at all parts of it. So yeah, that's cool, man. I think that like definitely some people enjoy PvP. It can make you a better player, but for me, I would probably be bad at it, and at this point, it probably wouldn't make me much better. I'd probably still suck as much as I do, except I'd also be sucking in PvP. It would just be another way to suck, basically. Yeah, the rotations probably felt more important when you were trying to kill another player who could quickly kill you, as opposed to like trying to get your rotation down on an enemy that's like not a big threat, especially if we're talking about retail. Especially if we're talking about retail, I can say that like PvPing in retail could definitely help you get better at your class. Because there's not a lot of PvE enemies in retail. They're going to make you think a lot about your rotation. So that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I do have an interest in Starfield. I have an interest in it. You know, I obviously don't believe that it's gonna be, like, flawless and amazing. They've literally, like, promised there won't be a lot of bugs, and it's like, okay, come on, Bethesda. There's not gonna be a lot of bugs. You're gonna pull off everything you said this game can do, and it's not gonna be full of bugs. Okay, I'll believe it when I play it. It's hard for me to get excited for games anymore, because, you know, I've been let down so many times, and after a while, you just don't get excited. I'm cautiously optimistic about Starfield, in the same way that I'm cautiously optimistic about the Fable remake. In the same way, I'm, you know, cautiously optimistic about several games that were actually unveiled at the recent Games Expo. There was like a first-person RPG that kind of reminded me of like an Elder Scrolls style game. I can't remember what it was called. I have to go back and look up like a list of open world RPGs that got revealed, because that one looked really cool. I feel like Starfield might end up going the route of Cyberpunk, where like they just showed us all this amazing shit, and it seems unbelievable, and maybe it seems unbelievable for a reason. Or maybe the game has been in development so long for a reason. You know, maybe it will have all this amazing stuff, and it will be less bugs than we're used to from Bethesda, and it'll be great. I hope so. I will definitely play the shit out of it if it's good, you know. That's absolutely gonna happen if it's good. Auntie, that could have been so many MMOs from 10 years ago. From around 10 years ago, I think about WildStar. What else tried to come out about 10 years ago? Phoenix says, I think Starfield is going to play okay, but be very boring and bland. Thank you for the super chat, man. That's super generous of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it could be. They, you know, here's the thing, and this could probably change. They showcase some, like, story characters. And the story characters that they showcased seemed like very boring archetypal characters that didn't have a lot of genuine personality, even though the voice acting was okay. The characters seem like these really boring archetypes, and they're supposed to be the characters that you hang out with on your ship and stuff. And I hope they're all different from the characters we saw in the reveal, because those characters looked like just contrived, boring, archetypal sci-fi characters. And I don't want to see or learn about any of them. That's the one thing that scares me about Starfield, is like those characters did nothing for me. And so that was a little bit worrisome. I remember that feeling distinctly as I watched the trailer. I was like, oh dear God, please let it not be these characters for real. Or let them be very, very different by the time we actually get our hands on the game. But I'm worried about it, because most of the story is probably baked by now. Which means most of the dialogue has probably been recorded by now, which means the characters are probably baked by now. So yeah, we'll see how that ends up shaking out. I also have to say, like, some of the landscape graphics they showed off, the color palette left some... They should look at No Man's Sky. They should look at some more No Man's Sky environments, and they should kind of, like, look at their color palette for some of the environments, and maybe they'll be different than what they showcased, but yeah. I feel like the color palettes for some of their, like, planetary environments were kind of bland. And I would have them look at No Man's Sky for, like, some better examples. But yeah, the cool thing is ultimately we're gonna have a lot of new RPGs to play. You know, we're not gonna have any new MMOs, so you know we can kind of forget about that. But we're gonna have a lot of new like open world RPGs to play, and I think that's like not an MMO, but it scratches some of the itches if it's a good open world RPG. You know, and possibly some things can be better, you know? Like having the sense of exploration, having the sense that it's a living, breathing world. A lot of this stuff can be done easier in an open world single player RPG than they can in like an MMO space. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, Phoenix, absolutely. Yep, I'm gonna play the crap out of that. I haven't touched it in early access because I didn't want to ruin anything for myself. So even though I've been tempted several times, like basically every time there's an update that I see on Steam, I'm tempted to grab it and play some early access. But I haven't, and I'm not going to until full release, which is what? It's September, right? It's soon. And I'm very excited to dig into that, absolutely. That's a game that I'd love to, like, spend 200 hours and get absolutely lost exploring. That's gonna be fun. August. Yeah. It's gonna be a good end of this year and a good beginning of 2024 for open world RPGs. We're gonna have lots and lots of stuff to play. I don't know how I'm gonna play all of it, because there's a lot of things coming out in August, September, end of the year, beginning of the year. It's all kind of like stacking up. It's all stacking up, but it's exciting. It may mean less WoW, Buffalo Bill, but I will find a way to play these games if they are amazing, even if it means I play a little bit less World of Warcraft for a while. I feel like that has to be the way. Homer, I appreciate that, man. What's your phone number? Go ahead and pop it into chat for me, would you? In fact, just don't do that either. I'm the type to put out the garbage on garbage night. Yeah. Something to keep in mind. There we go. We'll just do a little of that. I'm fine with that. Pick a top 3? Yeah, I'll probably just have to make my own, like, priority list, you know what I mean? Of, like, the ones that I'm most excited about and, like, what order I want to tackle them in. Because it's not like they're going anywhere. They'll be there, you know, to play. Yeah, Baldur's Gate is probably the one I'm most excited about because it's also the one that, like, feels the most baked. Because it's been in early access for so long that I feel like that's the way to make sure that there aren't big bugs or big issues. Is to put the game in players' hands, that the people that want to play it early, the people that don't mind kind of spoiling some of that story for themselves, put it into players' hands, because those are going to be the people who are going to love the game the most, the people who are going to play it through early access like that, and let them help you make sure that your game is as bug-free as possible. And that it just runs smoothly, because especially when you're talking about like all the branching narrative stuff, I feel like in those games it's so easy to like unexpectedly break quest chains by like unforeseen choices happening in other parts of the game. And so just making sure that all those things work seamlessly is probably super hard to do unless you have lots and lots of people testing it. Leo, when the stream started, I don't remember. We might have been... We weren't very high. We were like 30 maybe? 30 or 40? I had spent one other time like on my own leveling fishing a little bit. It wasn't very high at all. That being said, today we ran around a lot kind of looking for different pools to fish out of, so if we had just stood at the dock we'd probably be a little bit higher. But I feel like this has been pretty productive. I've enjoyed my time. Yeah, Phoenix, there's basically no way that the game's not going to be amazing. Absolutely. Yeah, we've been at it for a while, but it's felt pretty good. And we did hit 125. Auntie, I don't remember Darkfall at all. Was that an MMO that was trying to come out and trying to be a thing? Score US, do I ever get bored of WoW? Have you ever quit the game? Yes. Yes and yes. Absolutely. In my life I have gotten bored of WoW, and in my life I have stepped away from the game several times for long periods of time. And I would definitely recommend anybody, if you ever log into the game and you're feeling like, man, this just feels like a chore. This is what my clue was when I knew that I wasn't really digging World of Warcraft. Is like, what would happen is like, I'd sit down to play. I'd log into my character. I'd be standing wherever I logged out. I'd think about what is it that I want to do. And then I'd log out. Because it turned out, like, after a certain point, there stopped being stuff that I really, really wanted to do in the game that I enjoyed. And when that happens, it's best to step away.
Very good.
And so the answers are yes and yes. The Weird Guy, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you checking out the stream. This is a fishing stream, which is our first fishing stream. People often tell me, you should do a fishing stream. And I say, you think you want that, but you don't. So we did it, and it seems like people seem to enjoy it. I've had fun leveling my fishing up and learning stuff about fishing and chatting with you guys. It's been a good way to spend a few hours here on Father's Day. Oh, Dragon's Bait, yeah, I forgot to talk about the banner. Nobody really noticed the banner. Oh man, the banner's awesome, isn't it? Yeah, I have a Horde banner coming too. My wife got me these for Father's Day. The Horde one's gonna go like right next to the Alliance one, so it'll kind of fill that whole wall. And depending on what character we're playing, I'll switch them. So like the banner in front will be the character that we're on. But yeah, it's definitely really cool. I think they're BFA banners. It looks like BFA style artwork. Definitely cooler than like a white concrete wall. Yeah. Lael, I found those on Amazon. It turned out they were much larger than I thought. It's going to be cool because it's going to cover that whole wall when I get the second one. So I'm actually happy that they're like twice the size I thought they were. Super awesome. Thanks to my wonderful wife. She saw that I'd had them in the cart at one point and then I deleted them, but she saw that they were in there and got them for me. Alright, so here we wanted to find the cooking trainer, and we were going to pick up the sage fish recipe. Which maybe this person is over here.
What can I do for you? Safe travels. Well met.
There we go. Let's grab this one too.
Safe travels.
Can we cook in here? Can we actually cook? How cool would that be? We can. Let me, let's do that. And let's let these run. What do we need for the other stuff? Let's see. I guess I'm blind. I'm not seeing where it went. Sagefish. Small fish. Does it have small cutouts on the bottom of it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, there it is. I'm just not seeing it. Okay, we need mild spices for that one. Perfect. Oh, look at this. This one gives us mana per 5. Oh, that's really cool. That would actually be pretty helpful for us right now, wouldn't it? Awesome. I like that. So we have 50. We'll buy 50 mild spices. Mr. Chewy, we did not get storms last night that I know about. It seemed perfectly calm here in southeastern Michigan. We get protected by the lakes a lot, so some stuff that kind of moves through from the west doesn't always get to us intact.
No.
We're lucky that way, geographically. Let's not sell any of the sagefish. Okay, we need spices. Mild spices.
See you soon.
And there we go, we'll let that run. I'm glad you didn't have any damage, man. Yeah, 100-mile-per-hour winds are not a joke. The last time we had 60-mile-per-hour winds here, the power went out. And it was out for like a day and a half. And that was totally miserable. So yeah, we luckily seem to have missed that this time around. If we hit 150 here, I'll stop and we'll train. We're probably going to hit 150. Unless this goes green, like pretty soon, we're going to hit 150. I'm glad you guys are safe. That sounds terrifying. Putting tornadoes putting trees through houses. Yeah, I'll pass on that. That's a hard pass. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get 150 here. It's gonna be close. We'll see. It's gonna be close. Joe, I got the banner on Amazon. My wife got it for me, to be more accurate. I have a Horde one coming too, so the Horde one's gonna hang right behind the Alliance one. It's gonna cover up that whole obnoxiously white wall. Alright, will we get it? Oh, drat. We were so close. Oh, we were so very, very close. But we didn't get it, but there's always next time, guys. I am going to end this stream here for the evening. It has been a lot of fun hanging out and doing some fishing. I am surprised that I'm saying that, but I am. It was fun, and I think we'll do it again sometime. I don't know how frequently we'll do it, but I definitely want to continue leveling it up. I'm really interested in like the opportunity to get gear and bags from like the wreckage and stuff, so we'll do this again sometime. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna go spend some time outside with the family while we still have about an hour and a half of daylight. That's gonna be awesome. Thank you guys for being here on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you. And until next time, take care of yourselves out there and take care of each other. And we'll see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.